Hey, what up anyone is watching? This is View with Ice, the channel for anime and TV show related content. I have been thinking about a few different videos to make, but I'll be putting them on a hold for now because I see the channel steadily growing with the One Piece content, and because of that, we now have part 7 of the best showcases of power in One Piece. Doflamingo is a character who is very confident in his power and abilities. He is also not someone who would easily stand down, but Aokiji made him think twice during their encounter. Doflamingo made quick work of Smoker, who is a vice admiral, and just as he was about to finish the job, none other than the former Navy HQ Admiral Aokiji would show up. The thing I love most about this entire confrontation is how much control Aokiji has over his ability, because he was able to freeze Doflamingo and part of the surrounding area, but was able to keep Smoker out of harm's way from his ice at the same time. Although Doflamingo didn't listen to Aokiji's warning the first time, he definitely thought differently about fighting someone as powerful as the former Navy Admiral, and I'm 100% convinced if Doffy squared up then and there, Dressrosa wouldn't have been such a long arc. Gear Third is a technique Luffy uses very often, but it is not really a transformation that stands out. When we think about Luffy's coolest transformations, it goes Gear Second, Fourth, and now most likely Gear Fifth. However, Gear Third had some really impactful moments throughout the years, but for this selection, I am just gonna focus on when it was first introduced. The first time this technique was used was during the Enish Lobby arc, when Luffy destroyed the big door in his pursuit of Robin and Lucci. He attempted to use it against Blue Note, but Gear Second proved more than enough for the CP9 agent. Our first time we saw this in true action was against Lucci. Rob Lucci was on another level, able to overpower Luffy, and he also had the best iron body technique out of the entire CP9 group. He bested Luffy in strength and technique. When Luffy used his first Gear Third attack, it broke through the defense of Lucci and he almost lost consciousness due to how powerful the attack was. Although Gear Third was powerful, he didn't really have a lot of experience at the time because it slowed him down more than anything, and as we all know, it had a side effect, but I feel if he could have connected with another attack in Gear Third, we might have never seen the amazing jet Gatling that finished off the CP9 agent. When it comes to great villains, Hody Jones is definitely not one of them, and the Fishman Island arc is also not one of the biggest fan favorites, but as with every One Piece arc, it had its moments. This was Luffy's first official boss fight after the 2-year time skip, and we really didn't know what to expect from him, but although the fight wasn't that great, we at least got a great showcase of power. The Noah is the biggest ship we have ever seen in One Piece. It is said to be half the size of Fishman Island, and it was on its way to crash into the island thanks to Van der Decken. Luffy defeated Hody Jones and immediately proceeded to try and destroy the Noah before it could collide with Fishman Island. The thing that was amazing was of course Luffy's drive and determination. That is the thing that always impresses me about the Triad Captain, but it was even more impressive because he was rapidly losing blood but continued to push forward and destroy the Noah. And the crazy thing is, he was about halfway done before the Sea Kings came and stopped the ship from crashing into the island. I rarely see people mention it these days, but I just had to because it is one of the most impressive moments to come out of the Fishman Island arc. A lot of times people just look at the end result and ignore the struggles Luffy had to face against his first big opponent. Luffy's first encounter with the former warlord turned into one of his most one-sided fights we had ever seen. Crocodile really looked like an unstoppable force with his Logia ability. Our protagonist survived this encounter by pure luck and determination because Crocodile left him for dead. However, his Yuba water allowed him to gain some knowledge on how to fight the warlord. In their second encounter, the Strat Captain came prepared with water and put on a decent fight, but even though he came ready, the Logia user still had some tricks up his sleeve and handed another defeat to the future Pirate King, and yet again, it was pure luck that saved him from death. Coming in next, I just want to talk about Kozuki Odin because he is truly one of the dopest anime characters to ever grace a screen. This man had encounters with both Whitebeard and Roger. They bested him in these encounters, but at the same time this tells us how incredible this man was to be able to survive being in an altercation with two of the strongest characters that the One Piece has to provide. Another thing about Odin that impressed me was when he held onto Whitebeard's ship for almost 3 days. It was one of those classic One Piece comical moments, but it was just another thing expressing how impressive Kozuki Odin was. With his level of persistence and endurance, he would have most likely held on longer, but he only let go of the rope to save Toki. Odin was so powerful he even made Kaido fearful. I feel we could have gotten an entirely different fight between Kaido and Odin if foul play wasn't involved. One of Odin's most impressive moments was when he cut Kaido and left the Yonko with a permanent scar to remember him by. Odin was the real deal. He was Luffy, Zoro and Sanji rolled up into one amazing character. It has been a long time since we saw Luffy, Law and Kid together at the same time, showcasing their powers and abilities. The last time this happened was way back on Sabaody, and the three captains were trying to outdo each other with their unique abilities, and now in Wano we get an updated version of their showboating, showing us just how drastically they have improved on their powers, each captain going out of their way to show each other who is better. I can tell you right now, I am not someone who goes on about animation quality and things like that because I frankly don't care about animation when I watch One Piece. I just love it for what it is, but I must admit they have really outdone themselves with the animation in this arc. Normally we praise Luffy in these fights, but I just want to put a little bit of respect on Cracker's name. I know of course that Luffy was stronger than Cracker, but he for sure gave the Straw Hat Captain a run for his money. With his ability to create unlimited biscuit soldiers, Cracker managed to push the Straw Hat Captain far more than we would have expected. Luffy defeated Doflamingo and he was definitely higher on the food chain than the Big Mom pirate, but the Sweet Commander proved his worth here as one of the strongest members of the pirate group with his incredible defense, taking Luffy to his limit in Gear 4th. Had it not been for the opportunist who is Nami, we might have seen a completely different storyline from here on out, because after Luffy transformed back into his base form, Cracker could have easily dealt with him. So we all have to put some respect on Nami's name, because although she isn't that powerful, she was the MVP during this matchup. I know a big portion of the fanbase loves Doflamingo as a villain, but he isn't one of my favorite characters. However, I cannot deny that he is a great villain, and he also possesses one of the most OP Paramecia devil fruits we have ever seen. And on top of that, he also has all three types of Haki, making him an incredibly powerful and dangerous individual. During the Dressrosa arc, he displayed many powerful techniques with his Ito Itonomi, and he's also able to use his devil fruit in its awakened form. But weirdly enough, the thing that impressed me the most was the birdcage. It is one of the most powerful devil fruit techniques we have ever seen, capable of destroying an entire island. What makes this power so much more crazy is the fact that the entire Straw Hat crew, the Navy, the Allied forces and the people of Dressrosa worked together to stop the cage from shrinking, and they couldn't even really stop it. All of these powerful characters came together, and the best they could do was simply just slowing down the birdcage. This just proves how OP this ability was. The birdcage could have been the permanent end for Dressrosa if Luffy wasn't able to get the job done and finish off the former warlord. One Piece is a very diverse anime, but if there is one thing that is for sure, it is the fact that we don't often get to see real powerful female characters at work. But the Wano arc has blessed us with so many crazy power moments, and it would be criminal of me not to mention how much of a powerhouse Yamato is. The thing about Kaido versus Yamato is that we never expected her to defeat her father, but she showed us that she was easily one of the strongest female characters to ever be introduced by facing off with the Yonko. One of the strongest characters in the story, and a character who casually jumps off Sky Islands during his spare time, and Yamato actually put on a decent fight, stalling him long enough for Luffy to make his return to battle. Kaido is praised as this invincible monster that no one can touch and that no one can hurt, but Yamato proved how powerful she was when she managed to make her father bleed during their clash. Her final big attack on her father was the most impressive. In conjunction with Luffy's Z Cavalry, it sent the big Yonko flying. And another thing that I must say, it is really an injustice that she won't be part of the Straw Hat Pirates, because in my eyes, she would have been perfect. Over the years, when it came to fights, Luffy and Zoro always had the biggest spectacle, and that is still true to this day, but I was really happy that the internet gave my boy Sanji some big respect in the conclusion of his fight with Queen. Since I don't read the manga, I was really surprised to see how this fight turned out, because I assumed that he would fight in his raid suit, but after the suit awakened his dormant Germa powers, I was just happy that Sanji still got a significant power upgrade, even though he refused to use the suit against the Calamity. I would also like to praise Queen for his durability in this fight, taking so many heavy attacks from Sanji and still getting back up. Queen is a modified human, and that could also add to his durability, but this is also thanks to his ancient Zoan Devil Fruit. Kaido, King and Queen are really some of the most durable characters we have ever come across in One Piece. I never would have thought that a Sanji fight would shut down the internet, but I'm just happy any and every time they give Sanji his flowers.